Welcome, everyone. This is Manny's Irish Pub Sports Betting Show. We apologize for being only about 45 minutes late. As you can tell, I'm holding a mic the old-fashioned way. Whatever happened today, audio was fine. The mic was not working very well, but hopefully it's working well now. I have my three comrades with me, and that's always a good thing on Thursday afternoon. Rob, Veno, Tony, Finn, Tony Mejia. Well, we've already talked about my day with Jesse Schule. We don't have to rehash that, but if he's listening, I hope your night goes better tonight, Jesse. I really do.
I
go
wish
solo.
the same thing for you, Jessica.
Just go solo.
Things are well.
If I was closer to Vancouver, I'm a great wingman. A great wingman.
Ooh.
Iceman doesn't need a wingman.
No.
Well, that's true, yeah, until
He can't
the
talk,
end.
can he? He can't talk, though, isn't he? The Iceman can't talk? Nah, it wasn't him. I don't know who it was. Sign language now.
Well, with the time we have left, I wanted to talk about the NBA because I know you guys have been following the NBA free agency situations here, and maybe I'm dumb, but I thought I was surprised that Harden, as great a shape that he was in last year, opted out. So what does that mean? Like he's not going to be a Sixer, or
No, it means that he had less leverage than he normally would have had he not been hurt / ineffective entering free agency, and he's working with Morey on a longer term deal to build a winner and I guess pay him back for getting him out of Brooklyn. But I mean, in essence, he'll be in Philadelphia, no question. But did you see the Durant news?
Not if he has 1 cent, one fiber of brain cells left, he won't be in Philadelphia.
We'll see how much he saves him, John. He'll opt out of the 47.2. He'll re-sign for maybe, I don't know, 40, 41, give him an extra $7 million to work with this year to try and build something better. So he's going to be there. I think it's just a move to it's actually a good move on Harden's part. It shows he wants to win. So we'll see.
Yeah,
well, that is good news.
Did you see the Kevin Durant news?
I asked the question.
Just now, I didn't see it.
No, not just now, because I know John's been messing around with audio, and you saw he asked for a trade, right?
The Herschel Walker trades are already in the works for Kevin.
Who asked for a trade?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, well, Phoenix Suns has to be the destination, don't you think?
No.
There's talk that Philadelphia will get involved with Tyrese and Tobias and Thibault. That's serious.
No, they started that last week.
Wow.
In Philadelphia. These call-in shows, somebody called in as soon as they thought Kyrie was going to leave Brooklyn, and immediately Sixer fan, felt like Durant was coming here.
Did Durant just sign a 4-year extension, didn't he, this year?
Yeah, this past off.
So it will have to be a trade.
Sign and trade, right?
So am I wrong that can you smell Herschel Walker's scent? Can you see one of those crazy trades coming on for Kevin Durant? If only
Sixers already gave away their future.
Who?
The Sixers don't even have number ones to give away in the next 2 years.
I don't think. Listen, Durant's not going to play with Harden.
He might. I mean, there was beef there, but I think they could bury that.
I'll tell you what. You guys, you're half a glass full of stuff. I'm telling you right now. Kevin Durant.
I don't think he ends up here, Tony. Same thing.
No,
I think
and here's the deal.
Kevin Durant, they ought to bring Ben Simmons along too.
How many teams does Kevin Durant? Well, here's the deal. I had one of my neighbors was talking to me about Kevin Durant. Said, well, what if I'm understanding Kevin Durant, if they, Memphis this, and talked about Portland. I said, first off, obviously you haven't paid any attention. Kevin Durant desperately wanted out of Oklahoma City because why? Because it was Oklahoma City. He's not going to Memphis. He's not going to Portland. He's going to New York, San Francisco. Chicago. He's going where the money is, and people tell a lot of people to tell him how good he is. That's where he's going. Somewhere there.
Yeah, which is why when you said Herschel Walker trade, meaning a boatload of players coming in return, and we see Miami's name in the picture now, and Miami's got all that depth.
Miami. I agree.
They've got all that depth, so we'll see. I mean, the other side is, from what I read, and I mean Tony said it too to me, is DeAndre Ayton,
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges,
Yeah.
and Cam Johnson, and a first rounder or two first
Well,
round. I forget how
Guess
many.
what? Guess what?
Mikal Bridges
I
would
think
be
that's not-
involved
I
in
don't think
that.
it's
I wouldn't
enough.
trade him for anything.
What?
Bridges, I wouldn't get rid of him.
Well, Bridges is the best player we just mentioned, without question. Is Bridges, without
He's my
question?
best prop bet winner too. He's like a lock in the playoffs. I mean, just bet over every single
DeAndre
game.
Ayton. Listen, DeAndre Ayton. Maybe another 2 or 3 years, maybe 20 pounds, and somebody if somebody from the south side of Chicago would take him on for a couple of years and teach him how to fight, be a little tougher. He'll be a pretty good player. I don't think DeAndre Ayton's tough enough, personally. I don't think he's physical enough. I think if it came down to, I just don't think he is. So that's just me. That's just my opinion. Tony Finn said, what? Yes, I said it. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is tough enough.
Well, while we're on the topic of Sixers, do you think the trade they did with Memphis was a good one or a bad one? I kind of like it because that guy plays hard at both ends of the court. And
that guy?
I don't like it because I saw who Memphis ended up taking.
Yeah, Anthony Melton's a good player. You'll like him.
Yeah, he is. But
I mean, he's better than any Sixer on the bench right now. The combination of those five guys rots. So the Anthony Melton's an upgrade by himself.
Yeah, I know you guys aren't into that plus minus as much as I am, but when he was on the court for Memphis, the team's plus minus went up. So I got to think that he's a player that can make the players around him better with that second unit.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only player on that second unit. The rest of them stink. Korkmaz stinks. Danny Green's done with the leg injury. And
O'Neal? Who picked up O'Neal?
Thibault they can't get rid of fast enough. And Shake Milton hasn't developed. The whole bench is horrendous.
So
you got a player. You got a guy who can score some
Memphis,
points.
I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he won't play, right?
Right.
He can't play. His leg is shot.
Hey, so, I saw Westbrook. He opted back in for that $47 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you though?
No, I definitely not. $47 million.
I
would have said, listen, I'll opt back in for 48. And I'll go back to average my triple double.
You would say no?
I'll average a triple double for $48 million.
So did John Wall, and I'd venture to say that the Clippers are going to be better for it if he ends up there because I feel like John Wall's got a little something left.
You think so?
I do.
I think he's got something to prove, and he'll be fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he
hadn't played in 10 years. What was the last time he played? Was 10 years ago.
Yeah, but he's been ready to play for a little while. The Rockets just didn't want him to cut into the kids' playing time.
Yeah, so, we don't talk about the NBA show that we do. We certainly give Robert a hard time about Houston, and we call him. I said they've graduated from Corpus Christi to Galveston, so they're now the Galveston Rockets, which is a little closer to Houston. The truth is, if that front office has 10 cents of savvy, this team in 2 years from now is going to be pretty darn good. If they have any savvy whatsoever, and they trust the coach, they're gonna have a floor full of lottery picks.
Yeah, it should be solid. I mean, at that point, you're sometimes too young. Jalen Green's kind of a knucklehead to me. Kevin Porter Jr.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have 5 John Walls or 5 lottery picks right now?
No, I understand what you're saying. I thought the decision to sit Wall is fine. I'm just saying I won't say that the Rockets for sure will be. I like Şengün, and Kevin Porter Jr.'s talent is undeniable. He's just a hothead. That's
there's a way. You buy a kennel, and when he's not on the court, you put him in the kennel, lock it up. It's all good.
I thought you were going to say you have a nice puppy to make him feel better when he gets home.
You got to train him. You got to train him.
San Antonio's the latest to take that approach. They started tanking for this Wembanyama yesterday.
Yes.
The tank is on in San Antonio.
Tanking less than a month after the season's over.
Trust the process.
We're talking about that's some new news there.
How long do you think Pop is going to hang around and coach 19-year-olds, Tom?
Well, before one of them kills him. because he will die a painful death if he's got to coach a bunch of 19-year-olds. That one of them will lose his mind and kill Pop. No doubt about it. Not one question about it.
Swear that because Gallinari is going to take a buyout right away, right? He's not going to.
I think so.
Yeah, that's a done deal already.
Mm-hmm.
Gallinari was the right move, though. I thought it was the right move. Gallinari was going to be too hard to too much. He takes up too much of the cap. And
all right, so do we think that DeJounte and Trey Murray can play together? They seem to want to.
They want to. They're friendly. That's half of the battle. But look, it's going to depend on how good Trey Young is able to get into a rhythm, not monopolizing the ball all the time.
Right.
Like if I come off screens and become more of a shooter as opposed to the pull-up game, then yeah, they've got a shot because Murray can rebound, he can defend, and Trey can stay doing Trey things. But
you have to have two players, Tony. Both of them have to be willing to make sacrifices, statistical sacrifices, and in turn making statistical sacrifices, ego sacrifices, yada 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 that Rob brings up. And I don't personally know. I don't. Murray is kind of an anomaly. He's kind of an aberration to me. He's kind of this shadow in the distance where he may be capable. I don't know that Young is personally. From what I know of him, from Oklahoma, what I know of him as an he says the right things. You get him off the court, and you put him in a soundproof booth. With a vacuum. He says the right things, but I'm just not sure I trust him personally.
To your point, he's called it his team for quite a while now. So he's not leaving Atlanta until he wins with his team. And but do they put DeJounte Murray off the ball and let Trey continue to?
Well, I don't think you can't put Young off the ball because I don't think you can you? I just don't think you can.
Well, Young. I've read some quotes where Young says you're going to see some new parts to my game, which led me to believe maybe he's going to come off the ball. But I can't believe he's coming off the ball. I really can't.
There would have to be some sort of split the way that Harden and Kyrie Irving played the 5 seconds they played on the courts together in Brooklyn.
That's a different dynamic though. From basically a shooting forward to a point. These are Murray and Young are both essentially engineers. They're the offensive engineers, and that's the problem.
They all have to make. Murray's got to become a better shooter, and Trey Young has to, become a better off-ball player.
This is where I respectfully disagree with you. If just what you just said answers all my questions. If I'm a coach and Young's the better shooter and Murray's the better rebounder, then there's a way to engineer an offense that works for both of them if they're willing to accept the role, right? I love a guard who can rebound. I love a guy who can handle the ball, call an offensive play, execute it, and rebound and defend. Right now, who's a better player?
Basketball is such a rhythm game, though, especially when you're Trey Young, that, it almost becomes a timeshare, like handling the ball.
Bring me your timeshare. I'll get you out of it. I will get you out of that damn timeshare.
Huh?
I'll get you out of that timeshare.
No, you're not bringing DeJounte Murray in to play a lesser role. He's got to do his thing. Otherwise,
who's a better player? Who's a better player?
It seemed like a crazy trade. It just didn't seem like it was a sensical basketball trade. I was hoping DeJounte Murray ended up in Boston because if he did, I'd have said Boston be your favorite to win the whole thing next year. One ball handler away from being the best team in the league.
Then you got to muzzle Smart. What are you going to do with Smart?
Yeah, but I think he'd be willing to go off the ball. I don't think he likes being the point guard, Tone. He's not a He does it.
I wish I hope that's the case because he's not a traditional point guard, but we have lots of point guards right now in the NBA that aren't traditional point guards. 7-footers it's a whole new animal, guys. You know that. You got 7-footers in the draft that have skills of a point guard. It's just stupid, So eventually, tell me I'm wrong, but eventually there's going to be like to be an Orange County sheriff. You can't be under like 6'4". You can't be. You're going to have to be 7 foot to even get drafted. The point guard's going to be 7 foot. Center's going to be 7'8". It's going to be stupid. You're going to have to make the floor bigger. We know that. That floor's not near big enough. They got to raise them.
We're killing your driving range time, John. Come on.
No, but I'm still smiling.
Take
I'm
over,
still
buddy.
smiling here.
Well, he's smiling because the Dodgers finally won last night, so he's happy.
Well, I mean, Davey's the best manager in baseball, no hands down. I mean,
Oh my
there's no
God.
debate with that.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth for a second there.
46
What do you
wins,
think,
42 by the run
we
line.
do around the best bets. What do you think of the situation with Bryce Harper and the Phillies are 8 games out? I humbly state that I think I pissed off a lot of people, even my guests on the Major League Baseball show.
Why?
Back in the first week of June when I said that the Mets lead of 11 games was going to shrink rapidly. And I did mention the Braves. I didn't mention the Phillies.
It probably
But
would
that leads down to 3 games now.
Yeah.
And, the Mets were, 13-11 for June?
It's a shame. Philly's not going to – their front office seems to be allergic. They're allergic to making good decisions with the back end of the bullpen or the back end of the staff. They suck.
Well,
Okay.
the bullpen 2.45 over the last 7 games. If I'm in the
If we
neighborhood
had a 7-game
it's like
season,
2.5.
everything was beautiful. We have a 162-game season, John.
The Jalen Brunson to the Knicks thing is official now. Not official because it can't be signed till midnight, but
Who's he
not
going to?
surprising.
Only the Knicks. There it is.
Yeah.
The Knicks. Only the Knicks would pay Jalen Brunson that kind of
Will
money.
they get penalized for tampering, Tone? I think that that's half
there's
the
a lot of
reason why
things-
they had those 3 meetings today to try and act like, well, we weren't tampering with Jalen Brunson.
God, if you're gonna tamper someone with big breasts, and here's the deal: Jalen Brunson is not that person. He's not going to.
Well,
lead
not for
a
that
team.
money, Tone. That money is insane.
I agree. Jalen Brunson is a good player. Doncic made Jalen Brunson a really good player.
Do they bring back Obi Toppin in that deal?
I don't think so. What do you
Wow.
mean?
So it's not a sign and trade?
No, it's just he's going to sign.
Oh, all right.
3 years, $110 million, and the Mavs didn't even get a chance to offer.
Yeah, because Dallas was talking sign and trade. Okay, so they got to move on to Plan B. Mark Cuban.
But as far as the Phillies go, I mean, I faded them last night with the Braves 5% winner. Very excited, and who's your cleanup hitter now? Derek who?
Derek Hall.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to ask you off the top of your head, and we'll ask Jay. I'll ask you too, really quickly, and I'll shut up for a while. I'll type in my plays like Miami Tony. When was the last World Series? What was the last World Series winner that didn't have an alpha in the bullpen? Because listen, Boston, no alpha. They got no
Cardinals.
bullpen. They have no alpha in the bullpen. Philly, no alpha in the bullpen.
Cardinals.
Last
I
year,
would have said the
what year was
Braves
that?
last year, but Will Smith had good numbers.
Absolutely right. No, Will Smith knew who he was, and Will
6 for
Smith would
6.
tell you. I want somebody that's going to come to the microphone and say, "I'm the alpha of this bullpen," and if you think I'm not, then you're going to have to come through me. But guess what? Philly doesn't have that guy. They haven't had
That
that guy.
bullpen has been garbage in your defense for 4 years. They haven't done a thing to improve it. And the Mets won't matter. As long as the Mets make it, DeGrom and Scherzer are coming back. So, I mean, they're light years ahead of Philadelphia. They're light. I mean, Acuna and Albies both out. They're light years ahead of Atlanta, too.
Yeah.
Once
Listen,
they
I
get
played
those
Philly.
guys back. They just
Philly
got to make it.
I played Philly the other day with Wheeler, and the guy said, "Well, how you can play Philly without Harper?" Well, I said, "Well, Acuna." I said, "Atlanta's got their problems too.
They do.
They had their problems in the bullpen, and they had their problems in the lineup, offensively, defensively as well. Although Harris has performed pretty well in the absence of Acuna. I will give him that.
He looks good out there.
Yeah.
Juan Soto news: 13 years, $425 million.
I figured
Supposedly.
is that the biggest contract? I thought he would get the biggest contract ever. I think that was a given, right?
That's the new extension offer, reportedly.
Right. He can sign the biggest contract in baseball if he wants to. And here's the deal. Well, I like Juan Soto. I think we all know how talented he is. But my goodness gracious, when the Detroit Lions gave the Miami Dolphins quarterback of 8 games $800 million, do you know where I'm going with this?
I think so.
And he grew to be 300 pounds.
Mitchell was I'm not saying Soto's, I'm saying, well, you got to do a little more. I mean, he's good. It's obvious. He's got a nice skill set. But more than 7 days of an ERA of 2.5. Come on, man. Come on, Johnny.
He needs more protection in that lineup, though. He never sees pitching.
Well, I'll right. Okay, I'll punch in I'm going to go ahead and play Juan Soto on some prop tonight now that we've done that. So.
I'll tell you what, I think it would be a great prop bet. Most improved player in the NBA, Ben Simmons.
I mean, since he didn't play a single game, I guess anything he does is improvement.
Yeah, I mean, if
it wasn't worse, he wasn't worse,
right?
But he sure.
I think I'm pretty smart on that one.
He shows
you're
up
always
for work
smart.
and then
You're always smart. I don't
25%
care what
is
your
him.
wife says. I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one talking about that opportunity bet. That means it's good. But, Rob, I don't think I had a chance to tell you I finished #1 in the NBA full season at SportsMemo. So now I'm in the same shoes as you guys. It was pretty good down the stretch. NBA playoffs was pretty sick. It was something like 69% over the last 58 NBA plays. I can't remember a run of that magnitude. And then it carried over to the NHL, which arguably I give credit to Carmine and Andrew McGinnis because they took my NBA angle of the day that you guys would always have fun with and make fun of me. Well, they didn't make fun of me on the NHL version of it, and I started winning.
All right.
Purely analytical. And I made it very
just chuckled at the theme
I
music.
don't know the name of the players.
Technically, Joe Ranieri had fun with it.
It sounds like you won in the NBA with us making fun of you, so it works both ways.
Yeah, it works both ways. That's what I'm trying to say.
So what do you need from us then?
Yeah, you need us to keep making fun of him?
I mean, of all the guys on SportsMemo, would you think I would be the one that would be #1 since January 1 and won the playoff rounds? No. I can't even say Vasilevsky right.
I can't even tell you who's at SportsMemo aside from you and Dr. Chuck.
I
those
got
names
fired.
change every 5 hours.
Jesse Schule's pretty damn good at hockey.
Jesse.
1990.
That's because he lives in Vancouver, and that's the only thing he has to do. Other than what he did last night, which you have to watch that other show to find out what he did last night.
What other show? What other guy?
I'm still in
What
shock.
other girl? That guy.
I can't
That
watch
girl.
show.
Desi Arnaz Jr.'s daughter. That girl.
Marlo Thomas.
Yes.
Right?
I guess it wasn't Desi Arnaz. It was Danny Thomas's daughter. Sorry about that. Yeah, right.
One more question before
Danny human being
that girl.
I've ever met in my life.
What?
You do.
One more question before we go to best bets. Will there be a team in Major League Baseball this year with 2 20-game winners?
How? No.
No hints.
No
hints.
What's Cole and Cortez up to right now? 8, 9?
No.
Verlander's got 10.
Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson, I guess.
Verlander's got 10, and I would guess Framber has at least 8.
No.
It's possible.
So,
it's possible, but 100 pitch limits from here on out for the Yankees. Trust me, Yankees pitchers with the kind of late, they're not throwing more than 100 pitches. So getting those wins sometimes is a little more difficult if you're not going to go 7, 6, 7, 8 innings. It's just the way it is.
Could you imagine if it was Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson?
Yeah. Gonsolin, listen, and Gonsolin, he's going to back up a little bit. I like Gonsolin. Made money with Gonsolin, but he's going to have some regrets. He's going to back up a little bit. He is. He
did in his last start a little bit.
Yeah. And a lot of, I shouldn't say that. I mean, if the schedule plays out correctly, even Duncan, even Dave can't screw that up, can he? They'll start being a little more.
He's a hands-off manager, Tony Finn.
Well,
you have to understand he's a hands-off.
Who manages then? The front office? I mean, they call down off the phone. Yeah. Well, Dave, he's even said verbally, he has admitted, I don't make the lineup. They tell me what the lineup's going to be. What do you do, Coach Skipper? What do you do?
Well, have you ever seen the pitching coach when he goes to the phone actually be talking to him before he picks up the phone? I haven't.
No, I don't have an assistant that hangs out in the Dodgers dugout with a camera every time the guy. I don't know. No.
Well, maybe he's just a good delegator of authority. He turns all the important decisions over to his team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He trusts his team.
I'm with
trusts the process.
Okay.
A lot of
I think
they won't see Bueller till August, right?
His contract is up. It's supposed to be up at the end of this year. He may have signed an extension.
He did. He did. They signed him start of the season.
Yeah, he was supposed to go to the front office at the end of this year.
But they're not going to see Walker Bueller until August, right? At the earliest.
No. Yeah. Boy, listen. If you looked at, I went through. I started updating my charts, and I went through Bueller's numbers. His metrics were they're so bad. You knew it should have been more obvious that something was wrong. To me before, because his metrics are just horrible. His where he's at in the percentile is it's Zach Greinke stuff. And if you look at Zach Greinke's peripherals, holy shit, how you can't possibly back Jack Greinke with that Royals team. He did beat Texas yesterday 2-1, but absolutely. His percentiles are just so bad. So bad.
Yeah, it's about time for him. But I don't know. Dustin May will come back for the Dodgers. We'll see what he brings in August. Yeah. I just don't know.
Yeah.
The Mets have to be the front runners.
Yeah.
For sure.
Put your Mets jersey on, Tone.
You think so? I don't think it's the Mets. You think so? It could be. Here, I got a problem with the Mets. My problem with the Mets is that as soon as DeGrom gets back, he'll throw one nice game, and he'll be back on IL within 2 games. I
don't want the Mets.
I don't think DeGrom. DeGrom is just that. He's just that guy. He just can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Tell me, we've known guys like this. They're great players, just couldn't stay healthy no matter what they did. I thought that was the Yankees. Something they did. They finally switched to bottled water providers. The Yankees did, because this is the first season I've seen the Yankees stay fairly healthy too, because they were under Boone. They were always Stanton, 30 days gone, Judge gone. It's just always somebody out of that lineup hurt, or 2, maybe 5.
All right, well, figure the National League out for me then. If DeGrom's just going to come back and get hurt, and we don't want the Mets, and the Dodgers aren't going to see Walker Bueller for a while, what's better, getting Tatis back for San Diego or getting Freddie Peralta back for Milwaukee?
No, because San Diego never will.
San Diego.
The thing I don't trust about San Diego is, while they can pitch, they're 9 games above their expected. Right now, they're playing about 9 games better than their numbers would say they're playing. If you trust math, and I trust math, but I think Atlanta. Listen, there's one thing we know: Atlanta's going to make it. Last year, Atlanta won because they made a couple moves that were just savvy moves and put them over the top. And I expect the Atlanta to pick up a starting pitcher. I don't know if that pitcher is going to be Montas. I don't know who's going to be, but there's a couple pitchers out there that are going to go. We all know they're going for the trade deadline, and I promise you that the Braves will have their hands. They would desperately like to replace, the front man for Jethro Tull.
If I'm the Padres, I trade C.J. Abrams because he looks and get a 4th grade starter. And you got Manaya and Musgrove.
They don't listen. I don't think Padres need a starter. The Padres need a bat in the middle of the lineup that can stay healthy.
Yeah, they could use a bat too, no question about that. But
they're talking about getting rid of Hosmer.
So
Hosmer is on the back. He's on the dark side of the moon. Okay, he's a good player, still can hit occasionally, but he's on the wrong side of the moon. He's on the downside of his career. So, and we saw it with Kane.
At the trade deadline, will the Braves outmaneuver LA? Will they outmaneuver all the Mets money?
They don't have to outmaneuver LA. No one's going to outmaneuver LA because LA has. Well, everyone thinks that LA bought their team. It's just not the case. LA traded away some really good prospects to get to be where they are and who they are. They didn't just buy that team. They had a bunch of good prospects and still do.
Look at them. They're all over the field.
Yeah, right. No, and some teams have some of their prospects that they could have had. The one mistake they made was I don't think they did the due diligence well enough. With a pitcher that just happened to be a rapist, or not rapist is probably the wrong word, but something like that. And
a little freaky. little
Something
freaky.
like that. Yeah, a little freaky.
Is Luis
He
Castillo for
might be able to-
Cincinnati
he
worth
might be-
paying? At the trade deadline, you want Luis Castillo for the Reds?
Nope.
Why not?
Rob, good point. I would not make that trade for Castillo. I don't trust Castillo.
He's had a strong year.
He
At least
has,
strong
but
last few weeks.
guess what? You want to pull his number? I'll go down, dig some dirt up on Castillo real quick if you want me to.
You want Kyle Hendricks if the Cubs are selling?
Oh my God, no! Why don't you you might as well get Greinke.
Well, the point here is that if you look at the list of sellers, where are you going to get these starting pitchers from? Because none of them have them.
Montas.
Which one?
Oakland is going to dump Montas. He's gone. He's gone.
Well, you trust Frankie Montas more than I do then. Okay.
Well, I trust – we're talking about a guy who's capable of giving you 6 quality innings. That's
in a
all
playoff
they need.
game?
In a playoff game. Hitter going.
Montas,
and they
listen,
lost that game
he has the peripherals. He does. And there's some other pitchers out there I think that will move as soon as – and there's some out there.
Madison Bumgarner.
Oh my! Well, no. Might as well get Greinke. Might as well get Greinke. There'll be a few pitchers that it's off the radar right now. But if a team drops off it drops out of sight, and it's going to be a while because with that extra playoff spot, man, it'll be to the end, the final day of the year. We'll have people fighting for. It's just the way they have it. It's the way it's set up. At least it was last year. It was kind of fun, right? But it makes making decisions good, hard corporate business decisions. Again, a lot of who a team is, who they could be, starts in the front office to the coaching staff, and you have to trust your Schultzers, and your Duncans. And I certainly do not trust Duncan. That's the problem I have. The Dodgers should have 3 World Series in their pocket right now. 4. They should and would.
Absolutely.
If Whitey Herzog was managing that team.
The rat.
Good point. What about the Phillies if they're 10 games out going into the trade deadline? Kyle Gibson going?
Man. Wow. You can have Gibson. I'm not paying for Gibson.
No, he's asking to trade him.
I think there'd be a lot of phone calls about him.
Probably, because he's prototypical. He can throw the ball. He can get swings and misses, but I'm not paying for Gibson. I pay for Nola. Nola's right now. His numbers are stupid. They're so stupid. And he's winning on the road, which is stupid.
Yeah, he goes tonight. His numbers are kind of off the charts.
They're so good. Wheeler's. Listen, Wheeler is going to have a few games like he had because of his fly ball tendencies. And he lost that game giving up those 2 long balls. Nobody. I mean, his numbers. You looked at it line, pretty good line still. But the problem with Philly is that Philly's so hot and cold offensively, man. They're scoring 10 or they're not scoring. That's a problem with me. It's a problem with a guy for the 4 of us who want more consistency.
Yeah, and when you pull Harper out of there,
Although
chain of protection for hitters above and below, it wrecks everything for these guys.
Good point. Very good point. Yeah, but Harper. Every time I bet on Philly, Harper was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Every single time I bet.
Somebody must have told him.
Yeah, well. Pete,
I'll start our best bets for the show here.
Really?
Number 1, I like Houston a lot tonight.
Oh, I like the bottom 3. I like the 3. I like the under a half a base for 7, 8, 9 hitters whole game. I really don't know that, but the other 2, my other 2 compadres say that's the way to go.
Well, they brought up that shortstop and sent Chas McCormick down.
They
so
did?
Maybe that they ought to bring Chaz back up to bolster that last 3, maybe.
Who's? Can you tell me who the last 3 are? Is Tucker one of those 3?
I have no idea. I heard you earlier.
Tuve, Diaz, Tucker, Bregman, Gurriel is your 5, which is fine. Matijevic, who hit that homer against the Yankees but hasn't done much since. Dubon. young. I've never even heard of him. Did he come over from San Francisco? Or I'm thinking that's somebody else. And then Jake Myers and Maldonado.
He came from the Dominican. But go ahead.
Jake Myers and Maldonado. Those are 8 and 9.
Yeah, well, Maldonado. Well,
yeah. I mean, he's out there doing his catching thing, but not his pitting.
Maldonado,
specialist.
If Maldonado gets 7 or 8 at bats,
and the Yankees have their death lineup working, so
they do.
They do.
Who's? Oh yeah, but see, I don't know. I like Severini. I like him, but I looked at that game and I immediately stayed away from it. Why? I have not really had a very good. Although when Verlander pitches, Verlander pitches, Verlander wins. Verlander's pitching tonight. Well, Verlander wins. I don't know what his girl. What's her name again?
Kate.
Yeah, I don't know what Upton's doing, but I would pay her to keep doing it.
I think she earns her own money still.
How about you? Pay JV. Keep paying that. Paying her.
I pushed on. I had first 5 Astros yesterday, so that was annoying to see a push because Taijuan Walker pitched great, and then they get the run line win on the Castro homer, which is ridiculous.
So that's my best bet. I also like Pittsburgh tonight as a 3-percenter with Brubaker.
Only
I think
4 games
Go
ahead.
Probably about the only bright light on that team.
All right, well, I'll transition to my best bet with that because it is the Pirates. And I wrote it on my WagerTalk free pick page. And I like Brubaker. He's been solid of late. I recommend the fade of what's his name who's on the mound, Adrian Hauser. He's been terrible of late.
Yeah.
Pirates back at home. They've won, I think, 5 or 6 or something at home, and then hit the road and lost 5 straight before they finally won. So good spot. I'll take the Pirates at plus money.
It's my free pick, too, on SportsMemo. I think I copied it right off of yours, Tony, and just copy and pasted it to save time.
Switch a couple words around. You're good to do that.
Yeah, nothing beats plagiarism. It's the best thing going.
You're good 25% of the time, then.
Yeah. But the other prop that I've been doing them and having some success is Constellanos is due for the Phillies. There's no analytics to back this up, but it's pizza money. Plus 240 that he has 2 or more hits.
I don't know this, but there's never any pizzas. Your house never has any pizzas because you throw your pizza money around. You throw it away.
Yeah, but Jesse Schule, he owes me like 12 of them now.
Well, yeah, but that's like getting a judgment. Somebody's got to collect it. You don't right now. I don't think you're very good at collecting.
I guess I'm too lenient.
Go ahead, Rob. You want me to go? And then, Rob, how about this? You guys give me your opinion. The number. What's the number in the Cubs total? I saw it went to 10.
I'm seeing 10.5 now.
10.5. Well, I know it's a little warmer night. It's not like there's a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to the lake. But who likes Graham Ashcraft like I do? I really actually like the dog in this game. But you guys are talking about Hendricks? That's because Kyle Hendricks beat the Cardinals. Hell, he always beats the Cardinals. You throw that game out the window.
Ashcraft is on my fantasy team. I have an NAL fantasy team that I just picked up with Brian Leonard, thanks to him. And they're both in last place because I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning. It's like weird scoring system, rotisserie leagues where things are weighted.
Is there no translation with you between fantasy and gaming? Because I think they're connected like Siamese twins.
The way you have to set up the lineup is weird. So I had all my pitchers accumulating stats early, and I had Joan Adon, and I had all these guys, and my WHIP was last, my ERA was last. So yeah, not good.
So do you like Ashcroft?
I have Ashcroft. Yeah, I picked them up. I have Green.
I don't like
he's solid, I think, but he's got to learn how to pitch.
Okay,
so I'm invested in both young Reds pitchers.
So what is Tony Finn's best bet?
Ashcraft 3.27 ERA, 3.23 X ERA, 3.73 FIP. What do I like? If I can trust Hendricks as far as I can throw him, and I got 2 broken fingers right now, so I can't throw him really far to pick him up. I would play under the first half. I'd play under 5.5, 5.6 maybe if this thing goes. But I'm just going to take the dog. I'm just going to take the Reds and Ashcraft. That's my free pick.
All right, so now we're on
because Hendricks is a dog. The dog.
So you could do an underdog parlay. One of Kelly in Vegas is what did she call it? The 3-dog party parlay.
3-dog night.
Yeah.
Hottie threesome parlay. So there's got to be 3 underdogs.
The
so
hottie.
if Veno gives
she's
us
a freak.
Parlay.
Kelly, don't be such a freak.
If Veno gives us another underdog, then we have one for the show.
What do I need to search now? Because I wasn't going to give you anything plus price.
Let's see what he's got.
Well, I was just going to go back to what we talked about with Aaron Nola earlier. I played first 5 under 4.5 against Ian Anderson. Feel like both of these guys will get through 5. Even if we get a 2-2 tie out of it, it's still a little bit of juice attached to this one, right? It made it to 4.5 under -1/4. But the way Nola's throwing right now, you have to feel like he's going to get through 5 pretty clean. And the Phillies lineup, we talked a little bit about what missing Harper does to it. They still have capable hitters in there, but Ian Anderson, although his overalls don't really show it, Ian Anderson individually has been tough on the Phillies and on any given night can be tough. Still has good stuff. I don't know exactly what it is with him, why he hasn't been consistent enough this season, but I expect a good night out of him tonight. So I have under 4.5 -1/4 first 5 innings, Phillies and Braves, counting on the starting pitchers to get us there. And we don't want any part of that Philly bullpen, so we'll stop it at 5.
Smart move. Very smart move.
Marco Pell looked good yesterday, so there's something for you, John.
Well, isn't that a story? #1 pick, and he was 31 years old making his major league debut. The all-time record. You're talking about Appel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, for the Phillies. He was a beast of a pitcher at Stanford. And I think he was picked #1 overall, right, Tony?
Yeah, I only remember his name because he went #1 overall after being picked and not agreeing with money with the previous year. And so he was like a top 10 pick twice, including first overall. And then I guess he had arm trouble and flamed out or whatever. But yep.
2011, I think.
But yeah, he looked
the College World Series.
I was surprised he still throws 97 at 30.
Well, Tony Finn, at the risk of what I'm about to say, do you want to take us out of here instead of my usual thing?
Rewards are high. Yeah, okay. Well, let's get out of here then. Let's get out of here. I'll just tell everybody I'm Tony Finn. This is the new show at WagerTalk. It's called Finn Said Effing What? I said we're done for the day. All your winners are my winners. Listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else here. Don't wish me luck because I will only be delivered bad luck. Why? Because I'm always effing right. Bye.
There's no fade or follow with Finn. Just follow, baby.
See you in the next show, everyone. Thanks, guys.